Hello guys, Wahoo here, back with another video. This time around we are talking about a few things I feel like need some context. Alright guys, I have to pause myself right here because I do go on a rant and I just want to make sure you guys knew that. As I'm sitting here editing, I know that I am just rambling and rambling on, so I'm very sorry for you guys if it seems to do so, but I really wanted to make sure that I got my point across and I didn't step on anybody's toes, because I really don't want to do that with this. I just wanted to add some more context, as I say a bunch of times through the whole video, but just didn't want to step on any toes. And I know before you guys go to the comments and say, is this guy ever gonna get to the point? Yes, I am, but I just wanted to make it crystal clear when I was saying it. So I don't want to take you guys any more time. Let's jump back into the video. And as you probably saw from the title, you know, this also applies to other games as well. We are going to talk about a game that I'm going to show on the screen right here a little bit of. That is the Josh video. He talks about, you know, Gamigo and so on. But this can be applied to any game there's out there. So I'm going to show you guys a little, you know, intro clip of what the video is about, and I'm going to go into more details because I think that his video is very well made, but it needs some context in certain points that you can also, like I said, apply to other free-to-play games.
If you've never heard of Gamigo, then consider yourself lucky. They are widely believed to be one of the worst companies in the MMO landscape, and their recent behaviour has all but confirmed this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Trove, and I don't normally do drama, but I am an MMORPG channel, and this is a gaming company that affects anyone who enjoys MMORPGs.
So that was a little clip of his video. I'll go into more details when we move on, but before I lose you guys because you think this won't apply to you, I do want to get you guys in the mindset when you play a free-to-play game, these companies do have to make their money some way, and they usually do it through a cash shop. And there's loot boxes and all sorts of things, and people have always complained about all these things, but they will always be around, guys. They will always be around, but the thing is, you have to keep this mindset. You don't have to spend your money on these things. You don't have to spend your money on it. If you feel like you have to, maybe go play another game. I know some games that you have to pay, you know, already, like when you buy a game, you have to pay up front, right? But free-to-play games, they have to make these boxes very lucrative, so you are intended to or inclined to buy some of these boxes. They can't just make a box where it's like, hey, if you pay $100, you get this little gem thing and this little cute pet. And yes, I know pets are very cute, and maybe $100 is not enough. It's like nothing for you. Maybe some people are out there that might be in that way, but so for some people $100 is a lot. But they do have to make these boxes very lucrative, so you are entitled or incented to buy these. But again, keep in mind, guys, you don't have to buy these boxes. This is completely optional in many games. If it's not an option, if it's something that is forced upon you, I really highly suggest you guys play another game. And this goes for any free-to-play game out there, or any game at all, to be honest. If you don't like the game, just move on to another game. You're basically, sometimes if you just call a game bad or shit or whatever you feel like you are entitled to say, please say why you don't like the game. Why is that this is not for you? Because maybe you're robbing somebody of finding out or finding their favorite game ever just by calling it bad. So let them try it out and get their own opinion. And if you do feel like it's not a good game, explain to people why you don't think it's good for some reasons and for whatever reasons you have for getting this. So that was my very first point of all this, and now I think it's very important that you keep this in mind through all of this. But I just wanted to create this because I've seen it a lot of times that people are talking about these free-to-play games and don't have this mindset. I myself have the mindset. I'm not saying you should have it, but I'm just saying it's a very good idea to keep this in mind and don't hate on a game for being free to play. You can compare the game to, for example, a TV show. So you watch your TV, you don't like the TV show, but maybe you watch a couple episodes that are pretty good, and then it becomes pretty bad, right? But then at least you were entertained for those first couple episodes. It's same with the free-to-play game. Maybe you like the early game or whatever game you're playing, and then suddenly you just don't like it anymore, and at least you were entertained for that first couple of hours in the game, in the early game of the game. And you should keep the same mind when you are playing a free-to-play game. And again, if you feel entitled to buy any loot boxes to keep on going, if you feel like the shop is too much, there is definitely games out there that force this upon you. I'm not mentioning any games, but I can show you guys. I can show you guys a little clip here from the Lazy Peon that plays a game that is extremely wanting to force the shop on you, and I totally agree that this is a little bit overwhelming.
I've just made myself a cup of tea. I've came back. Level 102. Well, there's lots of rewards to claim. Bloody hell. Lots of things to equip. The game's trying to push me to spend money yet again. What is this? I'm upgrading something. I don't know what it is. Holy artifact, apparently. This game actually plays like having some kind of malware installed where you're trying to close all of the pop-ups constantly.
So I think I made my point. I think I've really cut it out in really specific parts, and I think I want to go into what Josh is saying. And again, I want to mention that it's a really awesome made video. He really did a really great job on it, but I think he's just missing a few points and hanging kind of Gamigo out to be the villain here. And sure, maybe they are. I don't know Gamigo that well. I'm not an expert at anything at all about Gamigo per se. I know some stuff about the company, but I do not know if they are an evil company, and I don't think they are the evils of the evil company. It's a company like any other company, I would say, in my opinion. But I will of course link his video in description. You can go check that one out yourself. So the very first part of the video, Josh says that Gamigo is basically the pure evil, and if they get hands on your game, it's basically dead. But I do want to bring you guys back a little bit of a history lesson here before we get into, or I just want to mention this because it makes a lot more context to, I think, who Gamigo is, to understand who they are. So first I want to talk a little bit about how Trove, the game you've also seen, most of the footage of here, that's a game I mostly play on this channel. So I'm gonna take the history lesson from that. So Trove was made by Tryon World, and it's a basically old company that that made some some funny decisions, I guess you can call them, but they were fatal for the company. So basically all the games, or the whole company, got sold in 2018. And that's all good and dandy, that's what happens to companies. But the problem is when a company gets sold, or a company, goes bankrupt, basically, the games, if nobody picks up the games, if nobody thinks, oh, we are gonna buy it and continue the games, they could have said, Gamigo for two and a half years ago, they could have said, yeah, we want to buy Rift, we want to buy ArcAge and stuff like that, but we actually don't want to continue Trove. And that was basically what happened to Atlas Reactor. That's of course back online right now. They reworked it and did some few things with it and stuff like that. But when they acquired Rogue Atlas, Atlas Reactor, then they decided that this was not making money, so they wanted to discontinue the service. So that's what happened to there. But Trove was, doing better. I don't know specific numbers about Trove, but I've heard that it's doing okay, and at least it's doing okay, so it still is running. So what happened was, Gamigo bought them. If they didn't, then the game would just have been dead. At that point, everybody would lose something. So basically what Josh is saying in his video is that, if they get hands on it, it will basically die. But it's more, maybe Gamigo for sure is a little bit more ruthless with their with the acquisitions of games, and therefore sometimes just cut a game like they did with the Atlas Reactor. And of course, it didn't impact me that much because I wasn't playing Atlas Reactor. It would have been a lot more if it was Trove. And, you know, we don't know for certain if Trove is ever going to, you know, keep its momentum as it is, hopefully at the moment. But as long as it's running, I am very, very happy that Trove is running. And if it happens to, you know, shut down, that's just what is gonna happen. But I do want to say that we could have, you know, lost Trove 2.5 years ago, but Gamigo is still keeping it alive. Maybe it's not getting updated as much as anybody would like to, but at least it's still playable, you know. It could be 2.5 years ago, we could have like completely stopped Trove, and all my maybe hundreds and hundreds of videos that I've done on Trove would be completely useless, as it would be actually for my Mabel story too, which I've also made videos on, which got disconnected in Europe, Europe, but in basically everywhere else besides from Asia, which is still running in there. You can still play it there. At least we got Trove for another 2.5 years. So let's continue with the next point of Josh's video. Alright, so the next point that Josh has in his video is about how you know, games or companies in general like make their money, and it's very well made and it's spot on. But I think he assumes something about Gamigo that I do not have any knowledge about either. If he has, I would like to see some harder evidence that he presents in his video.
When Gamigo buy an MMO, like Rift or Fiesta or the recently acquired Wizard 101, they look at these two bars, money spent and money generated, and they have effectively two very simple goals over the long term. Reduce A as much as possible, and increase B as much as possible. Because the money generated on B is not going back into A. It is going to the executives because they need to buy another yacht.
Because he basically says that Trove is making hundreds and hundreds, I'm over exaggerating here, making hundreds and hundreds of millions, and they're only using they're cutting it down to extremely low. And I don't think that is the case, to be honest. You know, Trove is not a big game, but I don't think that, honestly, that it makes enough money, to buy the CEOs of Gamigo millions of yachts and, you know, surfboards or, you know, Maseratis or whatever. I don't think it's doing that at all. But I totally agree with Josh that, you know, it is definitely making more money than they're putting into it. But how much it is, I'm not sure. But I don't think the Trove is making the kind of cash that some people think they're doing, and they're cutting costs as much as they can. They might be doing that with some of their games. I cannot be sure because I don't have the evidence at that. I do have, you know, the end of the year reports, as that is linked in the description. I'll also put it on the screen for, you know, some time. And there you can see that some of the stuff is, you know, they're probably, if you know more about, you know, quarters and stuff like that, or numbers and net values and stuff like that, then you can go through the report, and it's pretty open. That's for all the shareholders, is something that you have to make public for, because it is a company, you know, an open public company, as many other companies are as well. So I just wanted to make some context to this, that he makes it seem like they're doing that, and I'm not saying they're not doing that. I'm just saying maybe they're not doing that, you know, if you catch my drift. So just keep that in mind, again, because I don't. My estimates is that they don't make that much money off Trove, and if they are, again, like I said in the beginning, if you don't trust a company, if you don't trust Gamigo, if you don't trust Trove, don't put your money into it, and just don't play the game. There's plenty of games out there you can play, and you don't have to take your frustration out on Gamigo just because they actually gave us, like I said in the previous, is that they actually gave us 2.5 more years, at least by this point, gave us 2.5 years more Trove that we wouldn't have gotten if it was happened to be so. So for the last part of the video, I'm gonna sum up what I said in the rest of the video. So that part is coming up right here. All right, so this is the end part. Is basically the rest of the video, where he basically, again, keeps talking about them adding loot boxes and stuff like that. That's a lot of generalization for many companies, and I don't think it's specifically on Gamigo. And again, as I said in the beginning, free-to-play games have to make their money somehow, some way. And again, just basically, if you don't trust a company, if you're playing a free-to-play game and you don't trust that they're going to use your money for good, if you can say it like that, then you should definitely not put money into the games. And it is an option. It is, and it's your choice. Keep that in mind, that it's your choice if you want to put money into a game or you don't want to. You know, a game like, for example, The Witcher, let's take The Witcher, that's a game where you have to pay to get the game right, and there you're already set in for the game. But free-to-play games also have to make their money, and in that case, it has to be some way through loot boxes or in-game shops and stuff like that. I think I went over all the points that I wanted to say in this video. I just wanted to create a little bit more context, mostly focusing on the mentality of playing a free-to-play game. And I'm not, you know, trying to defend Gamigo at all. I feel like I didn't really do that. All this I just made to make more context. With that said, I think that's all I wanted to say with this one. I had ranted enough about this, but like I said, Josh made a great video. You should definitely check it out, but just keep in mind the whole thing when you go through it. I also linked or showed on the screen earlier that I did make a comment that like nobody answered and nobody saw anything or did anything with, so I'm pretty sure that nobody really enjoyed my point of view, and maybe nobody likes my point of view in this one, but at least I got it out there, and I hope you guys liked it. If you did, let me know in the comments, you know, about how you guys are, you know, feeling about all of this, all the free-to-play games, all your experiences and stuff like that. And I love to talk to more of you guys in the comments, because I love that interaction with you guys always. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!